everyone, how's it going? It's That Nerd Ryan here, and today we're going to talk about what's probably considered one of my favorite video games of all time. We talked about Bioshock, we talked about Bioshock 2, now it's time to talk about Bioshock Infinite. So this game came out 12 years ago, which is insane, and it still holds up well to this day with gameplay, with graphics, and with story. So Bioshock always likes to be known for kind of having that social commentary sort of thing, and this game is very heavy-handed with it. So this takes place in 1912 in a city in the sky. I am not going to try, I just want to say right now, I'm not going to try to fully explain the lore. We'll talk a little bit about it during the ending, but I'm not going to make a 40-minute video explaining the ending. People have done that for the last 12 years. You don't need me to throw my hat in. But you play as Booker DeWitt, a Pinkerton, ex-Pinkerton, who is now a private eye, who gets paid to go to a tower or a lighthouse in the middle of nowhere and bring back the girl so he can wipe away the debt. We constantly hear, "Bring us the girl, wipe away the debt," throughout the story. We also hear other lines repetitively throughout the story for particular reasons. So you go to the lighthouse, you get launched up, and you get to see this beautiful, breathtaking city that is not Rapture. It is Columbia. So this is literally the exact opposite of Rapture in aesthetics-wise. It's in the sky. It's beautiful. It's fully functioning. It has civilians. Everything. We also replace the Adam and Eve with salts and vigors. So the vigors give you your powers, and then salts kind of regen your powers. So you get kind of your basic lightning. They all have different names. Lightning, which is shock jockey. Get your fireball, which is devil's kiss. Instead of bees, you get a murder of crows. Then you get some new stuff like bucking bronco, which launches your enemies up in the air. Possession, which is basically turn target or whatever it was called in Bioshock 1. You also get to upgrade this stuff, and you get some pretty cool weapons. They are all pre-World War I weapons, but with a little steampunk twist to them. In that, you go throughout Rapture and find out that it's like a holiday there. Or not Rapture, I'm sorry. Columbia, it's a holiday there. So you're going through, you get to see all the carnival games, try out some of the vigors, and you get a lottery. You are specifically told not to win the lottery, but no matter what, you always do. And the lottery is that you get to throw the first baseball at a particular couple. I'm going to try to talk about this game without getting demonetized or in trouble with YouTube. So if you want the full detail of everything that's going on, play the game. But I will try to explain it to the best of my ability without getting in trouble with YouTube. But you get to throw it at a particular couple. So this also brings in your first choice. And for gameplay and story, what's amazing about this game, which they did kind of do in the original, but it is exemplified in this, is you get the choice to throw the baseball at this couple, or you could throw it at the terrible person that is running this raffle. No matter what, you get stopped before you throw it and noticed as the false prophet, because you have a branding on the back of your hand. So you're stopped from doing either of those. in that you steal a ride machine. I forgot what they're actually called, but it is your melee weapon, and it also allows you to ride on the little roller coaster stuff, which for gameplay, traversing is basically like a roller coaster, which is really cool. I found out in an interview that they really tried to make Columbia feel like Disneyland, and I can completely understand that. But yeah, it turns out that everybody in this town is a zealot, and I'm going to say it, they're a zealot and a racist. And you kind of have to fight your way to the tower that this girl is staying on. In doing that, you were also branded the false prophet and chased down by the whole city because their leader, Victor Comstock, who is, or not Victor Comstock, Zachary Hale Comstock, I'm sorry, is the prophet of Columbia. He's the one who founded it because God gave him a vision through the angel of Columbia that he must build this city and give birth to a daughter that will rain fire over the people below. So you are actually grabbing his daughter, Elizabeth. You meet her at the tower and you see that she has some weird power that's able to open into different dimensions. So she is all, this whole game then turns into an escort mission, but a fun escort mission because you can have interactions with Elizabeth not only during like moments of levity, but also through gameplay of her throwing things from different dimensions in, and then also giving you stuff to help you. In that, you guys fight your way through Columbia to try to get her out. She wants to go to Paris because it is the most beautiful place in the world from what she's heard. So you promise her that you're going to do that, but you end up trying to go to New York. She catches that and tries to run away. Half the time, Elizabeth is running away from you, or you don't trust each other. In that, you guys end up accidentally agreeing with a radical movement that seems to be for the right cause, and telling them that you will help them bring weapons to overthrow Comstock. So you end up going to the slums of Columbia, where you meet certain people and go through certain fetch quests and stuff like that. And this is where the game starts getting really crazy, and to a lot of people really confusing, where it might turn them off. So with that, Elizabeth realizes, or the person that they were supposed to talk to had all his weapons stolen, or all his weapons manufacturing equipment taken by the government. So Elizabeth realizes that she can teleport into a different reality where they were never taken. So Elizabeth opens the door, you guys go through, and you go back, and some other stuff is like slightly changed. You also notice that people that are dead in the original dimension are having aneurysms and going through different things, which is strange because your character keeps getting nosebleeds. Anyways, you guys go back and you see that the person that makes the weapons is also having dual reality issues. So then Elizabeth opens another portal to where the Vox Populi, which is the radical movement, already have the weapons. In that, Booker actually died as a martyr, and him coming back seems to be a ploy that may ruin the Vox Populi. So Daisy Fitzroy, the leader, decides that she needs to kill Booker and do it in any means necessary. So now you have to go after her, and we see Elizabeth's first murder, which is Daisy Fitzroy, who was about to kill a child, so it's a justifiable murder, but it starts putting blood on Elizabeth's hands, which is important. The next thing that you have to do is fight Elizabeth's mother. In this time, you also find out that Elizabeth is adopted. You also keep getting hints of a baby crying in your past. So it's starting to piece together who Elizabeth really is. And yeah, but it gets way more complicated than that. Another thing I forgot to mention is Elizabeth is missing a pinky. That's a very important thing. It's actually how she gets her powers. But that's not explained until the DLC, which we're not going to talk about today. But yeah, so anyways, so through that you have to fight the ghost of her, dimensional ghost, not really a ghost, of her adopted mother. In that you get the key to finally go up and face Comstock, but then the Guardian that keeps trying to protect Elizabeth also gets in the way and takes her. In that, you get pulled into another dimension and get to see what basically Columbia and the rest of the world looks like with Elizabeth captured. In that, you meet a much older version of Elizabeth who shows you raining fire on what seems to be New York, but is actually Rapture. I could be wrong, but that's, I think, what it was supposed to be, was a war between Columbia and Rapture. Or I could be wrong, and it could be Columbia and New York, but yeah. Anyways, so you guys, she tells you to give Elizabeth this message and go and save her. So you do, and her powers are upgraded. She also finds out what the message is, which is the code to controlling her guardian, which is Songbird. So now you officially go to fight Comstock. In that, he gets really creepy with Elizabeth, and you end up bashing his head on a baptism thing. And in that, you go and finish off the Vox Populi and destroy the statue that Elizabeth lived in. You also, throughout the game, I forget, you learn about Booker's past. That he used to be a Pinkerton, and before that, he fought in Wounded Knee and killed a lot of Native Americans. Most of them were innocent. And then in that, he... well, we'll get to that, because I forgot that only is mentioned towards the end. So with that, you destroy the tower, and you get teleported to Rapture. You walk through and you get out and you see a million different lighthouses, some different versions of Booker and Elizabeth as you go through, and you find out, big surprise with all the hints that were given, that Elizabeth is your daughter Annabelle. And she was stolen by Comstock as a baby to basically create this prophecy that he created. Also with that, you find out basically everything about Comstock was a lie, and for whatever reason Elizabeth is super important, and everything is tied together. You also find out that all the choices that you made throughout the game are pointless because of constants and variables. The only thing out of the choices that you actually make that kind of change anything is just how Elizabeth looks when you choose a brooch for her. But every decision that you make is either stopped before it's made or does not have any full change effect. Another one would be that if you leave your hand on a certain point for too long, you'll get your hand stabbed. But that's it. So you're wearing a bandage through the rest of the game. But yeah, so nothing that you do really changes the outcome of the story. In that, you decide that you need to go back and smother Comstock in the cradle. So what happens is you get teleported to the Battle of Wounded Knee, the after effect where people are getting baptized. So it turns out that that day Booker denied that baptism, but there is a reality where he accepted it. In that reality, he became Zachary Hale Comstock. So the villain and the hero are the same character, which means that to smother Comstock in the cradle is to kill Booker at that point in time. So Elizabeth does so, erasing all versions of both of them from existence. The end. The game is crazy fun, has an amazing story. The gameplay in it is an upgrade and simplified from Bioshock, so it's like a natural progression. And I just love the whole story. I love the relationship between Booker and Elizabeth, or Booker and Annabelle, however you actually see it. But yeah, so I'm going to give this game a flawless 10 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below. It's that Nerd Ryan, signing off.